Growing up here, I really well, I'm always going to love the climate. I love the sun.
We love our Florida beaches. It's what makes Florida, Florida.
Those sandy beaches are some of the most important sea turtle nesting habitat on Earth, and they're also incredibly important to people.
This has been my playground since 1956.
It is the most valuable asset we have.
Beaches are part of the lifeblood, the soul of the state of Florida. And those beaches are under threat right now. On one side, you have often inappropriate beachfront development that's encroaching right onto the beach. At the same time, we have the effects of climate change and sea level rise.
Florida is really ground zero for the impacts of sea level rise and climate change.
We're talking about billions and billions of dollars of exposure,
with impacts to the urban environment and the natural systems upon which our entire economy is so very dependent.
The resource is disappearing. With sea level rise, we have less and less beach.
Sea level is going up, and as the climate warms, it'll go up at a faster and faster rate.
We should be planning for this. It's ludicrous that we are still playing games with it.
The battle to try to save properties from erosion is leading to things like the construction of seawalls, repeated beach nourishment, and our beaches and sea turtles that nest on those beaches are really caught in the middle.
This is a state that from its very early days was focused on selling waterfront property.
We've lined our shoreline with intense coastal development.
We're committing ourselves increasingly to very hazardous and dangerous areas. Who's going to pay the cost for that?
We're not addressing these issues in an intelligent, I would say it's a greedy manner that's driving our coastal zone planning.
By the time that I am 60 years of age, sea levels will have risen 2 to 4 feet. And in 2100, they're predicted to rise 6 feet, 7, 8, 9. Some scientists predict that they could rise even higher than 10 feet. And if I can understand this at 16 years of age, we need to ask why our so-called leaders avoid and deny the topic.
One of the key things that we can all be aware of as Floridians are the well-being of the nesting beaches.
Now, sea turtles are so important because they're really an indicator species.
When the sea turtle is made unable to nest, you can be assured that the coastal communities are themselves in jeopardy of the next hurricane that comes along. So the turtle becomes a kind of a canary in the coal mine for the state of Florida. And we're ignoring that fact all around the peninsula.
Sea turtles are amazing creatures. When you're actually looking at a nesting female, you're looking at a survivor. That turtle had to endure so many things to be there at that time. But now the majority of the coastline is heavily developed, so there's not a lot of places that sea turtles can move to.
The idea of wiping out any kind of species of wildlife just for the sake of building subdivisions or high-rises is appalling to most kids, absolutely horrifying. And their recurring question is, how do grown-ups get away with this?
We deserve better. Our country deserves better. My generation deserves better because we're the ones who are going to inherit this mess. And most of all, our planet deserves better. So we all need to come together and act upon this issue, because if we don't, in essence, then South Florida is going to sink.
We simply can't ignore what's happening in our communities.
We know it's coming. We've read the newspapers. We've read the climate science. You know, my kid is going to have a place to live that's dry. When they find out about sea level rise, they're going to ask, when did you know and what did you do? We sure wish that our elected officials in the state capital of Florida had some sort of a plan.
This is a critical issue. State government has got to engage on sound coastal policy and climate policy.
We are either going to be the canary in the coal mine, or we are going to be those that help to lead the way in how we can effectively address these problems.
When you talk about saving the beaches, you talk about the whole heart and soul of the state.
It's time in Florida that we start making smarter decisions. We need to do it now, and we need to do it every time. We need to understand what's affecting our beaches and the kind of things that we can do to protect those habitats and make sure our elected officials are paying attention and doing the right thing, or we're going to start to lose one of the most important aspects of the state of Florida, and that's our natural sandy beaches.